Hello and welcome back. For the first 3 minutes of this video, you're going to see that my audio got messed up. So you see my lips moving, but you won't hear me talking. So I'm going to explain now what I'm doing. I'm making gluten-free Italian rainbow cookies. These taste amazing. Doesn't matter that they're gluten-free. I'm going to link both this recipe and a regular non-gluten-free recipe in the descriptions in case you want to use a regular recipe. So what I'm adding here is 8 ounces of almond paste broken up, 1 cup of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, and 2 sticks of butter, which equals 1 cup of butter. You'll want that to be room temperature. Now we're going to separate some eggs. We need 4 egg yolks for this almond paste mixture, and we'll need the 4 egg whites, so save those, reserve those off to the side in a separate bowl. Now that we have our egg yolks in our mixer, we are going to take our whisking attachment and we're going to beat this for 5 to 6 minutes until it's light and fluffy. And we got our almond paste mixture all done here. Now we're going to take our gluten-free all-purpose flour and we're going to need 2 cups of this. We're going to sift that to our bowl. Okay. We have our tapioca flour. Three-quarter cups of this. Right, so we have our xanthan gum. Sift this down a little bit. We need 2 teaspoons of the xanthan gum. One. 2. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. For our dry ingredients, so we're going to give this all a mix. Sift it all in together. See me leaning down on the counter, I am still very weak, so I apologize. I'll do it in the best I can. I'll get there. I'm hoping by next week we'll be fully recovered. So very out of breath. Another mix. I'm going to take this attachment out of my KitchenAid. We're going to put our regular beater in, and we're going to mix our dry ingredients in with our wet ingredients. You may have also noticed my growing belly. I am pregnant too, so that might be what's making this take a little longer to go away. We're going to add our dry mixture to our wet mixture. And we're just going to blend this until it's mixed well together. Alright, I washed everything out. We need a nice clean bowl for this. We're going to beat our egg whites until we get some stiff peaks. My egg whites right here. Put those in. I'm folding in my egg whites. I've got them mostly folded in. Just softening the dough. I'm going to call that good on that. I'm going to separate this into 3 separate sections, and then we're going to dye 2 of them with red and green. Alright, so I'm going to start with our natural color one, the one that we're not adding any food dye into. This is going to be the one that we bake first, because we might as well get this one in the oven while the other ones are being mixed with colors. Alright, and I think that's as far spread out as we're going to get it. We're going to put this in the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. Going to keep an eye on it because it'll cook fast. I'm going to mix this one with our red dye. I have these gel dye colorings. So I was just checking to make sure that was gluten free. And it is. Hopefully I didn't I might have added too much. Let's see. I got my red all mixed in. I still have my other pan cooking. So I'm just going to transfer this onto some parchment paper and wait so it'll be ready to go. I only have one smaller size pan, so we're going to work with what we got here. It'd be nice if you had 3 so you can have them all prepared and maybe have multiple in the oven at once. This is where we're at with the red one. We're going to add our green dye to our last one. Can you hold it? Yep, thank you. Can you hold it? Can you hold it? Thank you. And my little helper here. Can you hold it? Sure. Thank you. Yeah, not right now. I don't like that getting my flour in here. So I'm going to get this one transferred into the oven. Another 12 minutes. And this is where we're at with the green one. The recipe says that this takes 20 minutes of prep work. It's most certainly not taking me 20 minutes. It's taking a little longer than that. So be prepared for a little bit. And adjust the time if this is your first time or close to your first time making it. And the green one is going in. These are taking about 13 minutes actually in my oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Here we are, the final piece. Now we're gonna let these fully cool down, and then I'm gonna put my jam on top. Okay, our cakes have cooled. We're gonna start with our bottom layer is our green. We got our raspberry jam here. Raspberry preserves. I'm gonna put half of our jar of jam preserves on here. We're gonna keep calling it jam, so.
Hey, wait for mine.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect on the edges, perfectly straight, because what we're gonna do is we're going to cut off the edges when we're done. These will be the sample pieces for my kids to try. Alright, that layer's done. Hopefully without cracking. So we'll transfer this other, our natural layer on there. Should be our middle layer, and we're also going to cover this one with jam. They're not going to be the same size, I already knew that before putting it on here. I'm just going to top the rest of my jam in here. Preserves. Usually I make a raspberry jam to put in this. It's so good. I just haven't gotten around to doing my jams yet this year. That's going to be, it's like the first thing on my list when I'm done with these Christmas recipes for you guys. We'll do some jam. So we need to can up some jam and restock our pantry on homemade jam.
Not that one. See this one. This one. See this one.
I want these to be fresh when I bring these over for Christmas, so I'm going to, when I'm done with mine, I'm going to put mine in the freezer. Because today is the day before Christmas Eve. And they'll still be fresh at that point on Christmas, but I want them to taste like the freshest that they can. So we're going to freeze them the following day of. I'll extend the life of them a little bit too. Layer is our red layer, but it's got pink. I don't want to add like a crazy amount of dye in there. Also not going to be the same size, but that's okay. So we need to put this in the fridge for 2 hours. We're going to put some heavy glasses filled with water. I'll probably use some mason jars and my pan on top of them to flatten them down in there. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. While we wait for our cookies to flatten in the fridge, I finally got our stockings up. So we need a cup and a half of chopped chocolate. I chose to use this bittersweet chocolate because I topped my grasshopper bars with them, and it just came out so good. So I'm just gonna top this with these as well because I think it'd be really good. I'm just going to estimate the cup and a half. Listen. Want to try a piece? Chocolate. You like it?
Chocolate.
Do you like it? It's chocolate. It's just a bitter chocolate. It's a little bit different than what you're used to.
Chocolate?
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah.
I have a little extra. You want a few pieces? And I'm going to go ahead and melt this in 30-second intervals until it's all melted. Okay. Right, so this is what happens when I entrust my 5-year-old to start the camera. It didn't record, so I think she took a picture instead. I took this out of the fridge. It rested for 2 hours. Put it back on the cookie sheet, so this way it doesn't make a mess when we do the chocolate drizzle. I melted my chocolate in this bowl for 30-second intervals, and then I just spread it all over the top. It's looking a little rough now, but I promise you, when we cut off those edges, make it into little squares, it's gonna look beautiful. Just waiting for this chocolate to harden, and then we're gonna cut it up. Right, our cookies are now chilled enough to work with here and cut up. I'm gonna use a serrated knife. Cut off on the sides here. A prettier edge. Don't worry, that won't go to waste. Clean this up a bit now. Put my edges to the side. Now we'll cut this up. I should probably clean up the knife. First row. Now, if I wasn't freezing these, I would probably store them in the fridge until I was ready to use them, just so that chocolate layer doesn't melt. And so they stay fresh and don't get hard. You do what you'd like with them. I've seen some people put sprinkles on top too, and they melt the chocolate on there. Feel free to do that. I might be making these a little bit big. That's okay. I don't think anybody will complain. Make this a little smaller. Done. Alright, so this is our sample here. That's how it should taste. We got a beautiful thickness on these. They look really good and they taste really good, and I took one of the ones from the edges that didn't look as pretty. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how this came out. I want to thank you for watching and have a blessed day.